Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
Hey now, welcome to episode number 23 of the Batman on Film Social Hour. This is an audio-only podcast version of this show, this Batman on Film show. This is my show, and I'm Jett, Ramey, the founder of Batman on Film, and I'm joined again. Pete, this is getting to be a regular thing, brother.
I have replaced Dick's shoes. Co-host.
So, with me is senior BOF contributor and the co-host of Straight Outta Gotham podcasts that you will find wherever you get your podcasts, and also if you want, they're on Batman on Film. If you want to go to find it so you know it and then follow it from then on, so you can find it on BOF proper. This is Peter Verra. How you doing, Pete?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
This is exciting. We got a new exciting topic to talk about.
We do. And I just realized, we're damn near, basically we're halfway through July. So the Suicide Squad is about to drop here.
It is.
Not
It's
too
around the
long.
corner.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that and to see everything that Harley's been up to,
Yeah.
as well as Waller and all the new additions to the cast. We should start a pool. We should have like a BOF death pool for the Suicide.
Who survives or the order in which they go out.
We can do something fun with that.
Okay. That sounds fun. All right. There you go. You got an assignment. So speaking of the Suicide Squad, they must be, I'm sure they've done press and are doing press for the film. And there was an article that came out, and I found it via Yahoo, and I'm not sure, I didn't see them source anybody, so I'm going to chalk it up as a Yahoo Entertainment article, and it was with Miss Margot Robbie. I'll say this: I seen her in person. I was about 10 feet from her.
Yeah.
And photos and film do not do her justice.
Yeah. She's a good looking girl.
Yeah. And she's not only that, she's extremely talented.
Yeah.
Extremely talented.
I've loved everything she's been in, not just Harley. Wolf of Wall Street, all that crazy stuff.
Yeah. You see Tanya?
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll add that one to the list.
That's a good one too. She's real.
She's kind of really risen to the top of the game here. She's big time.
And a producer and whatnot. So good for her. And she is the current DC on Film version of Harley Quinn for the third time in the Suicide Squad. She was in Suicide Squad, the David Ayer original. She was in the Birds of Prey that she produced, and kind of
Harley Quinn has a trilogy before Superman.
Yeah, true. And now she's in the Suicide Squad, which is a kind of sort of reboot, but not really, but kind of a Batman Forever-ish type of deal where it's kind of its own thing. And if they want to carry over, they carry over some stuff. And if they want to ignore stuff, they ignore it. So
yeah, they pretty much get to do whatever they want.
And
I just want to see the movie.
and you're a comic book guy, right?
Yeah, big time.
Okay. And you're mostly a DC guy, correct?
Yeah, I definitely lean DC.
Okay. You ventured into Marvel, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What would you say is the difference between Marvel and DC in terms of their whole approach comic book wise? Just in general, because I've talked with Michael Uslan about this. This is something he learned me, and I I did take that online class with him and the late great Stan Lee and learn some of this too. But what would be your general opinion, the difference? I mean, they're superheroes, but there is a difference.
I always looked at the DC approach was always kind of more, their heroes are more on a pedestal, mythologically, almost godlike. Whereas I feel like more
correct. I agree with that.
So that to me, that's always the difference. I feel like Marvel heroes are more everyman.
Yeah. I agree with that. What I learned, and when you were taught this, and then you go back and you go, yeah, that's kind of true. Is that DC, starting with Superman, then Batman in 1939, and then Wonder Woman in 1941, that they were essentially always their own things in their own
Correct.
little worlds.
Yeah.
And yes, they, I think, what was it, 1951 or 52 is the first time that Batman and Superman actually appeared in a comic book story together. I mean, this was over a decade after both were created, and they were both like immensely popular comic book characters by the time they finally I don't know if they were still national periodicals. So, but when DC said, we should maybe put them together, it'd be a good idea. I think it was Superman 76, back probably volume 1, obviously, of that title, where they.
I'll Google it.
And they were like Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne had to share a little small cabin on a ship. That was the story that kind of forced them together. But while you look, see if I'm right. I think Superman 76, 1951.
So this says Batman's first appearance, Superman Volume 1, number 76, May 1952.
52. Okay. I said 52, then 51.
Published
52.
on March 7th, 1952.
Okay.
All this is on dc.fandom.com.
And then there wasn't a Justice League until 1960, and that was actually started in a Brave and the Bold comic book.
Okay.
I think that's the one with Starro. Was the Starro the
Starro?
talker?
Yeah. I do. I think what do I have? I have an early Justice League book. I don't remember which one it is.
And so, and even after that, through the 60s, 70s, 80s, and even up to today. I mean, now we started in the 90s. You had more of the the big events and stuff like that, but still. DC has always been where you could read Batman comic, the title, and you didn't have to really read anything else, for the most part. It really didn't affect anything that was going on. And Michael, Mr. Uslan gave me a great analogy one time that it was like DC was like little fiefdoms, it's little, where in the kingdom, each little fiefdom was doing its own thing, but they were kind of sort of together and so forth. I wish I had that exact quote. But then Marvel was always created and meant to be very overtly connected comic book wise.
From day one, they've all kind of been
interconnected. And
the Marvel universe.
Yes, and starting, it's centered around New York City, a real city. As opposed to Gotham and Metropolis and Central City and the different places that the different DC characters work out. So there's a historical difference in the approach to Marvel and DC, and that includes what you said. That you're right. The DC characters were always, Superman and Wonder Woman especially, always put on a pedestal of being these, godlike characters and so forth. And you got others like, Tony Stark, who he liked to booze it up a little bit, and they always had some kind of faults.
And don't get me wrong, DC characters are are kind of everyman. Like Barry Allen is an everyman, stuff like that. But it's just kind of more or less like the approach of the company as a whole. Really, I felt.
Yeah, and you had some great.
Still to this day, DC characters are
and that's fine.
Snyder considers them gods. He was very overt with his what's it called, interpretations and stuff. So. it's played out recently on screen like that too.
So back to Margot Robbie. I think she made a great, she had a great comment. Read the article, and she made a really great analogy, and it's very self-aware. I was impressed the fact she kind of sort of knows the comic book history.
She does her homework.
Yeah,
like
of
when
Marvel and
cast,
DC. Yeah,
she's always you could usually see Margot holding some sort of Harley Quinn literature. She's had comic books in hand numerous times.
Yeah,
she's definitely done her homework, and I'm sure she's watching Batman the animated series, and I'm sure she keeps her eye on the new Harley Quinn animated series. So she doesn't take it for granted. She dives deep. She's I wouldn't call her a method actor. But she really gets into the psyche of Harley Quinn.
Sure. So she was told in this interview that that Harley was no longer with us in Zack Snyder Justice League. That based on the the epilogue night, that last nightmare scene, that she was gone, she had died, and she didn't even know that. She laughed and said, "Really, I'm paraphrasing. She was shocked.
I guess she doesn't have HBO Max.
Yeah, she doesn't have HBO Max. So they asked her about that. She said, and I like this. She said, I guess it's kind of like the comics, the film version of the DC universe. I actually think they are a lot like the comics. You pick up one comic and something's happening, then you pick up the next comic and maybe that character's not alive. Maybe that character's not with that person. Maybe that character looks completely different. Each movie is its own sort of thing, and I think that works in the comic book world, and I think that works in the DC film world as well. It's not like Marvel, where everything is more obviously linked in a more linear way. What are your thoughts?
I think it's spot on. I mean, if you just look at what's being printed right now, you've got Batman, you've got the next Batman, you've got Batman Catwoman, you got a Black Label Catwoman book coming out that's just been announced yesterday. So not everything is connected, but there are, don't get me wrong, they'll do crazy things like death metal, and they'll combine everything, like Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like DC's known for, kind of going their own way and then having a big bang to kind of clean it all up at some point, whether it's a new 52 or whatnot.
Yeah.
But
and she's
spot on.
Yeah. And she continued, she says, so I didn't know that Harley had died, but that doesn't necessarily change what other people are able to do in this universe. I don't think. Here's the thing I really like. What one director decides, I don't think dictates what another director might be able to pick up on and do with the world and the characters, which is fun. I think that's an appealing aspect for directors in the DC world, which Warner Brothers has clearly said they're going to have an emphasis on filmmaker-driven approach going forward. I think that's appealing aspect for directors in the DC world. They can make their own the way James Gunn did. He didn't have to be beholden to the version that David Ayer set up in Suicide Squad. He could pick it up, make it his own, which I'm sure was more appealing for him. So yeah, I'm with her. And we know the deal. I mean, there are going to be some films that are connected technically that are DC movies. I mean, you can't ignore the fact that, it
all depends on whatever the creative team behind that movie.
But we've seen this. We've seen this in Wonder Woman 84. We saw it in Aquaman. We saw it in Birds of Prey. That
we're going to see it in the Flash.
Yeah, and Flash is going to be one that's another thing. Flash will kind of.
And then Joker was its own thing entirely.
Yeah, I mean then you're going to have those kind of movies. Joker, its own thing completely. The Batman is its own little universe with the Batman and the spin-offs on HBO Max.
They want to know what the plan is, and the plan is, they're going to just make movies, whether they're
that's it. Bingo.
It's not going to be. You're not going to. Not everything is going to be a stepping stone, and you're not going to have to watch one movie necessarily to see the other movie. You're not going to get one movie in a credit scene. It's just they're doing things a little differently, and if you want a whole connected thing, I'm sorry, that's just not what they're giving you. But it's not like they don't know what they're doing, and they're just letting their creatives speak for them. If Michael Bay comes to Warner Brothers and has a great idea for a connected universe movie, I bet you they talk to him about it. If Guillermo del Toro has an idea for completely isolated movie on, let's say, I don't know, I don't know if he wants to come back to Justice League Dark or something like that. Like he'll do it. Like they'll just take ideas from creatives. I'm trying to, if Del Toro wants to do a Deadman movie, they're not going to stop him. Like, well, how does this connect to BVS? It's not going to.
That's the thing. Yeah. So if you're going to see these films that are DC films from Warner Brothers going forward, you got to know that, okay, I'm not going to go see this episode of this mass saga that's leading up to a huge team up movie, and it may look different than other DC movies. We're not going to get these little Easter eggs that are there. Not, sometimes that's, that stuff's cool when you go, this and that.
You're not going to get that in Matt Reeves Batman. Chances are you're going to get it in the Flash.
Yeah,
and it's, to be honest, you get the best of both worlds. That's really what it is.
So it really is, and I'm glad that Warner Brothers is doing things different. And
I like it because, while I love Sam Wilson, Steve Rogers will always be my Captain America. So, I want to see more Steve Rogers movies, even though I love Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But I want to see that, and he was so great in that role. So it's like, well, when's the next Steve Rogers Cap movie? I don't know. It'll probably be a very long time. It's same thing for diehard Iron Man fans. I'm sure those guys are really upset that, when is the next Iron Man movie? I know he just had a long, lengthy run, but I'm sure Iron Man fans want Iron Man movies. I think it's cool because they're not just held to shackles to whatever. If Snyder wants to do something, he does something. It doesn't connect to Matt Reeves' movie, which who knows where the hell Muccietti's movie connects. They're just making movies. These guys just have ideas, and I think that's cool.
The key is,
I think both are great. So
yeah, I have no problem either. But you would never see a Joker from Disney Marvel films. You wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have.
No, maybe before Disney bought them, but never now.
No, and now you wouldn't have. Frankly, you wouldn't have the Iron Man as some, non-connected take on Tony Stark and Iron Man with a different actor than Robert Downey Jr. You know what I mean?
You're not going to get that for 10 years, at least, right?
Yeah, I mean, because it all has to connect. It all has to
in that universe.
The
way you do it is if you do a prequel Black Widow style. And when do you see her again? She's huge too.
And that's but it's connected.
It gets a little weird, yeah.
I'm talking if someone came in and pitched, look, I'd like to do an Iron Man film. Here's my take. It's completely different.
They're going to say no. Well,
it's not part of it's not part of the MCU. You couldn't do it.
I'm waiting for that moment. I'm interested to see when is the first non-MCU Marvel movie.
Well, that's because they're a producer driven. I mean, and that's fine.
It's great.
That's fine. But you're not going to get a Nolan to come to Disney and go, hey, I'll use it again. I want to do the Iron Man. And it's completely not connected to anything you're doing with the other Marvel films.
At this point, they're while I don't want to say they're limited, but they've used up a lot of their A-listers, and that's part of the reason why they want Spider-Man, because they want that one A-list character back. And it's interesting, oh man, even something like Black Panther, well, R.I.P. Boseman, but when's the next T'Challa Black? It's going to be a long time.
Yeah,
you're never, because it's part of that. They're changing the story up drastically. So it's interesting that through all the success they've had, certain characters aren't coming back. I'm trying to think who else is dead. But then they bring back Loki, right? And that's all connected. And he does I haven't seen the show yet, but it's insane. It's bonkers. I know it's time travel. So you're getting really comic booky right now, right? Because you're talking about 3 different versions. You want to play 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. You could do that now with Loki. And I heard there were a bunch of other Loki. So it's interesting that they could do that and they can pull it off. But at the same time, you're kind of oh man, I'd love to. But imagine imagine that being DC and Batman being going through the arc and then dying. It's well, I still want more Batman movies. I'm still a Batman fan.
And with Disney, Marvel films, and the MCU, they all still at the bottom line, at their core, they connect.
Yeah,
one way or the other.
It's interesting. And
with DC and their approach, and I do think there's a lot to the fact when, you know that director that made that trilogy back in, between 2005 and 2012 for Warner Brothers, using their number one IP.
That English guy.
Yeah, kind of. He's got dual citizenship, and he kind of suggested that approach. You just kind of make DC films and roll with it. That seems to work very well for Warner Brothers, especially them historically being a filmmaker-driven studio.
For other people, other people have tried to do this and failed miserably. Remember Dark Universe? That went one movie and they put handed.
Yeah.
Fox had their ups and downs, but they had their shared X-Men world.
Yeah.
But that wasn't really, once Deadpool came around, like everything else was really self-contained and large ensemble films. So, they've perfected it, and Warner Brothers tried at some point. Didn't really work out too well, but
you know what, Peter? You can like apples and oranges at the same time, can't you? Even though they're both pieces of fruit, and
pineapple and mango.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. So, anyway,
I'm just happy that they're continuing to make movies. Like that's in the long run. Like, I remember the days when it was like one movie a year.
Yeah.
Now it seems like you get one a month.
Yeah, and then
you throw in the TV shows.
I'm down with. I really would like to see that I don't have Disney Plus. I'm not a big Disney guy, so there's not other than the the Marvel stuff wouldn't be all that appealing to me. So I've kind of held off on getting it.
But there's what though? It's like any streaming service where you get it, and then you search through it, and you're like, there's a lot of stuff on here that I actually didn't know that you had the rights to that I watched.
Yeah. Okay.
So and here's the thing, like you like superhero movies. Honestly, for the Marvel stuff alone, I think Disney Plus is worth it.
Okay.
And then you combine it with
because I would like to check out some the series they've done on Disney Plus.
No, they're all good. And it's like HBO Max.
WandaVision and all that stuff.
The fact that HBO Max has like DC stuff is a bonus for me because like I watch it because like I love the HBO shows.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh wow, for this it's already a steal. So I do. I don't think it's, and you get all the ESPN stuff. You're a sports guy. You like that too.
Yes.
If you get like the Disney bundle or whatever it is, or something like that. There's, I don't know. There's like a Disney Plus or whatever.
I just have found it interesting. I thought she kind of nailed the difference, Miss Margot Robbie, and brought in the difference between the comic book companies, and brought it into the film part. And I think I don't think it was just her talking out her ass. I think she knew what the hell she was talking about because she's not dumb. She's smart. No, she nailed it. And like it or not, there is a difference between Marvel and DC, and the approaches that Disney has taken with Marvel and Warner Brothers has taken with DC. So, and especially going forward now. One last thing, they asked her about when we're going to see Harley Quinn again, and she's like, she said, I need a break from Harley. She kind of wears me out. And she's like, I'm not sure when we'll see her again. I'm waiting just like you all to see when Warner Brothers decides to bring her back.
Margot Robbie's a star. She deserves a break.
Yeah.
Let those creative juices flow. Let her recharge her battery. There's no doubt in my mind that she has a story in her head that she would like to tell. I think she loves the character. I'm sure she loves working, so I'm sure she would not mind another producer's credit on a Warner Brothers film.
Yeah.
I'm sure that brings in a pretty penny. So she just needs to go on vacation and relax a little bit. That's really what I'm thinking. And I think she'll be back. I loved her in her 2 appearances. I'm a big fan of Birds of Prey. So I don't think this is the last we will see of Miss Harley.
You think we'll see the Batman universe version of Harley that's completely different than?
It's possible. I don't know. But
yeah.
If Matt Reeves doesn't like the character of Harley Quinn, he does not have to use her. It's totally up to him. And
but here's my point. I guess really my point is like with Warner Brothers and their approach with their DC characters, that's possible. That wouldn't be possible with MCU.
I don't think. I think it's clear that those 2 worlds are different. I think the Batman is not in the same world as the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And if that stays the course, I don't know, but we'll find out, and that's the fun part. So we'll see. If Reeves does it, he does it. I'd be interested to see what he has up his sleeve. It'd be interesting to see somebody else's take. This way you can compare somebody to somebody else. That's fun.
Did you like Birds of Prey?
I really did like Birds of Prey.
I did too. Yeah. I was about to say, I'm the only one that really liked it a lot.
It kind of gives me vibes of Reservoir Dogs a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good analogy. Yeah. Good comparison. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's a little bit before its time, I think.
Yeah, I do think, like everyone, I think they limited themselves on the title and the rating. But,
yeah,
as long as that's what everyone, agreed to when they decided to make that movie, who am I to say?
Another film you wouldn't get from Disney, and I'm not knocking Disney Marvel, but you wouldn't get a.
You would not. I don't think you would ever see Black Widow inhaling blow.
No. All right. So with that, we're going to get the hell out of here. We're going to making these short and sweet and easy to listen to. If you're going to the office, you're coming home from the office, you're on the treadmill, you're at the lunch, you're whatever you're doing, mowing the grass, whatever.
Maybe before you walk in the theater.
Yeah, and walk in. Yes, and walk in the theater. So Pete, plug whatever you want. I'm always impressed with your plugging ability.
You can follow me on social media. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Zack Snyder's favorite Vero at Pete Illustrated. You can follow podcast number 1 that I co-host with the champion of Long Island, Eric Holzman, straight out of Gotham, straight_O_G on both Instagram and Twitter. We have a Facebook page and a Facebook group. Follow my Spider-Man podcast that I co-host with the Italian combination of sausage and meatball from Chicago, Nico and his father, Nicholas Caruso, at Italians for Spidey, the Italian Spider-Man podcast coalition. We got a new show coming up next month. This month, actually, we're going to talk some fun Spider-Man stuff, books, and some little special topic. I got a review of Detective Comics that was late, and it's up today. Thankfully, I got toy reviews on Batman on Film YouTube. I got other comic book reviews. I got interviews with Mr. Uslan and Tara Strong on YouTube as well. Check that out. Batman on Film YouTube, Batman on Film proper.
That's impressive. That makes me need to just kind of gather myself because I can't follow that. But I will say, you're going to get those McFarlane Batman 66 things, toys?
I pre-ordered the Batcave. I pre-ordered
okay. Does the Batcave come with Batman and Robin or just the Batcave?
Just the Batcave. But it was only $30, so I think it's a steal.
Yeah. Okay. Because I checked and they were like, everything was already, that was available was already.
The car was gone. I couldn't pre-order it.
Yeah. I got a car. I got the, what's that?
I missed out on the Mattel wave, so this is my second chance.
Yeah. All right. So for Batman on Film, you can find whatever I do on Batman on Film proper. You can follow me on Twitter at Batman on Film. That's where you get all my witty banter and witty comments. But if you just want straight news, it's at the Batman on Film on Twitter. Like what we do here at Batman on Film. Help keep us going. Patreon.com Batman on Film or patreon.com/Batman on Film. And all of the shows, the ones Pete mentioned and a bunch more on BatmanPodcastNetwork.com. You'll find links to it there. You'll find links to Pete's shows on Batman on Film as well. And the great Ryan Haas, another senior Batman on Film contributor, is the curator of the at BatPod Network on Twitter that kind of facilitates all those shows that are part of our network. And check out Batman on Film's gear. Get some gears, stickers, whatever, T-shirts, Warner Brother ball caps. No Warner Brothers ball caps there.
I bet those are on eBay though.
Yeah, tpublic.com/Batman on Film. And that's all I got. And Pete, before we leave, you got anything?
No.
You're looking for that. You're looking forward to that as much as I am to that Sopranos prequel movie.
Yes, very much.
Okay.
I can't wait.
I am too. Digging that. I was a big Sopranos Big Sopranos fan back in the day.
It was good. It's one of the best TV shows ever.
It is.
A lot better than Cheers. I'll tell you that much.
What's more of a faux pas? Is it retweeting your own tweets or believing that pizza is overrated?
I think
Because
is
pizza
overrated.
ain't overrated.
It's delicious.
Pizza is not overrated. I'm sorry. Neither is gumbo or boudin. Okay, that's all I got for Pete. I'm Bill. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to the BOF Social Hour, Jett's official vlog and podcast on Batman on Film. Follow Jett on Twitter @BatmanOnFilm. Follow the BOF newsfeed on Twitter @TheBatmanOnFilm. For Jett and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original, Batman on Film, established in 1998.
And Baba Booey to you all.